History abounds with tales of hugely tall men and women, but it's only in the past couple of hundred years that we've had medical explanations for the phenomenon. Pituitary gigantism, Marfan syndrome, eunuchoid dullness, Soto's syndrome, and acromegaly are all conditions that can cause those afflicted to grow beyond the human norm. Pituitary gigantism is by far the most common cause of extreme height. It usually occurs due to oversecretion of growth hormone from cells in the pituitary gland or as a result of a tumor on this same gland at the base of the brain. Yet the stories of the individuals affected by gigantism are as interesting as the causes behind their conditions. Read on for the 5 tallest recorded people in history. Number 5. Edouard Beaupré. Born in Saskatchewan, Canada in 1881, Edouard Beaupré also reached the incredible height of 8 feet 3 inches as a child. Beaupré had dreams of being a cowboy, but he may have changed his mind when he turned 17 and discovered that he could lift an 800-pound horse. When he was 21, Beaupré joined Barnum and Bailey's circus as a strongman and circus freak. The French-Canadian giant's feats included lifting heavy horses and wrestling one of the world's strongest men, Louis Cyr. During the wrestling match, he hardly dared to lay a finger on his opponent, leading to Cyr's victory. Sometimes Beaupré suffered for his art, and he once broke his leg lifting a 900-pound weight. Towards the end of his life, Beaupré suffered from tuberculosis and felt weak and dizzy after his feats of strength. At around 1:00 a.m. on July 3, 1904, feeling tired, he drank a cup of tea and began coughing up blood. He was rushed to hospital but died the same night. Doctors who examined Beaupré post-mortem found that he was suffering from a pituitary gland tumor. They also discovered that he hadn't stopped growing until his premature death at the age of 23. Number 4. Väinö Millinen. Born in 1909 in Helsinki, Finland, Väinö Millinen was 7 feet 3.4 and tall by the time he was 21. What's more, he hit a second growth spurt in his late 30s, and by the time of his death in 1963, he was a towering 8 feet 3 in, just like Kosson and Beaupré. Millinen served with the Finnish Defence Forces and is considered the tallest soldier who ever lived. He was also voted the 12th greatest Finn by local TV show Suuret suomalaiset, mostly due to a sarcastic tongue-in-cheek internet campaign. The Finnish colossus suffered from acromegaly, which frequently leads to gigantism and abnormal growth. Millinen was confirmed as the tallest living man in the world from 1940 until his death at the age of 54. His hands were also an incredible 15.7 inches wide, which is the largest recorded handspan in history. Number 3. John F. Carroll. Born in 1932 in Buffalo, New York, John Carroll was referred to as the Buffalo Giant in medical journals. When he was 16, Carroll's incredible growth spurt kicked in, and it didn't stop until his eventual death in 1969. At one point, he reportedly grew 7 inches in a matter of months. Carroll was afflicted with acromegalic gigantism and suffered a lot during his short life, especially when it came to his spine. He had a bad case of two-dimensional spinal curvature, also known as kyphoscoliosis. In fact, Carroll's spinal curvature was so severe that it even made measuring him accurately extremely difficult. In 1968, just before his death, Carroll measured in at 7 feet 8.75 inches. However, by this stage, his spinal curvature was so extreme that it's thought his corrected height could have been just below 9 feet. Number 2. John Rogan. At 8 feet 9 in, John William Bud Rogan is the second tallest human being in recorded history, and the tallest of African descent. Born in Tennessee in 1868, Rogan suffered a sudden growth spurt at the age of 13 and gained height rapidly. Rogan's extreme size led to him suffering from severe ankylosis, a condition that leaves the joints stiff due to inflammation. This made it extremely difficult for him to put his weight on his feet. Initially, he could walk around with the aid of crutches, but by 1882 Rogan couldn't stand or walk at all. Always the center of attention, he was often pulled around in a goat cart that he designed himself. Rogan found it hard to work due to his condition but made a living selling pictures and postcards of himself at the local train station. He died in 1905 from complications due to his disease and was buried under a layer of concrete to stop curious scientists from digging up his body. The African-American giant was not measured officially until his death, and although he was just less than 9 feet tall, he weighed in at only 175 pounds. Number 1, Robert Wadlow. Topping our list is Robert Wadlow, the Giant of Illinois. Having reached a height of 8 feet 11 in, Wadlow is the tallest confirmed person to have ever lived. Born in Alton, Illinois in 1918, he suffered from hypertrophy of the pituitary gland, causing him to produce massive amounts of human growth hormone. This condition led to Wadlow's height constantly increasing throughout his life. By the time he was 8, he was already 6 feet 2 in and weighed 169 pounds, 77 kilograms. The Illinois resident was so large that a special desk had to be built for him in school. Doctors at the time had no treatment for this kind of hormonal imbalance. Wadlow suffered from a number of ailments due to his unusual condition. He had trouble moving around his college campus because of his brittle bones and needed to wear leg braces towards the end of his life. He also had minimal sensation in his feet.
I'm about 12 years old and weigh 240 pounds and I'm about 7 feet tall. These boys grouped around me are about the same age as I am. They go to the same grade.
In the end, during a professional appearance Wadlow made in Manistee, Michigan, a faulty leg brace gave him a blister that went on to become infected. Emergency surgery and blood transfusions failed to save him, and he passed away in his sleep on July 15, 1940. He was only 22 years old. Over 30,000 people attended Wadlow's funeral and 12 pallbearers were needed to carry his massive body. Thanks for watching our video. Like and subscribe our channel.